guys, it's me again. From the Paisley Jackson channel. I'm probably going to rename the channel, but yeah. So, I'm going to be talking about today, like, what do you call it? Your friend's kind of ditching you and then rubbing it in your face. And this has happened to me a lot. Like, it happens all the time, and I don't know why I'm still even friends with the people that do this, but, you know, can't always, like, be friends with everyone. So, what happened was, I was, like, the last video, same person, my friend, let me write down, Cat. That was the name I used in the last video. And then let's make a name. For the other person. Let's do Pepper. Okay. So what happened was, I have this friend named Kat, and we went out before together, and she said, you know, like, I went out with her one time to the mall with her grandma and her sister and her brother. So we went out to the mall, and then she asked me if I wanted to have a sleepover, and I said, yeah, sure. And then I went home and I asked my mom, and she said, we have crap to do. And then the girl ended up, like, Kat ended up having guitar. So I was like, okay, we can just reschedule another day. So it was one day at school. I asked her, you know, do you want to have a sleepover? And, well, she asked me. She was like, hey, do you want to have a sleepover? I'm like, sure. And then, so she said, like, the day before that she might be going out with this girl. And her name is, I'm just going to say her name's Pepper. So that's why I picked the name Pepper in the beginning. So she said, oh yeah, I might be going out with Pepper, but, you know, and then, yeah, I said, okay, just let me know. And then she goes the next day, well, she said Pepper is going to call me and, like, tell me what time to come. I said, okay. So, and it was the next day, and then she said to me, Pepper never called her. She said, oh yeah, so we can have her sleepover. I said, okay, cool. Yeah, I'll ask my mom. So I asked my mom, and she said that's okay. And then I go and I ask her, like, hey, you know, are we gonna have a sleepover? She said, oh no, I went out with someone. I was like, did you go out with Pepper? She says, maybe. Well, I'm like, she started, like, hi. I'm like, hey. And she's like, oh yeah, she just keeps talking to me. And then, I don't know, it's kind of confusing, but this did happen. So what happened was, she went out with the person. She had her phone, because they called me. So she did have her phone, and she was texting me. But, so what happened was, I was like, oh, did you go out with Pepper? And she's like, maybe. I'm like, and then she's like, if I did, will you be mad? I said, no. I said, okay. And she said, okay. Then yes. I'm like, then I said to her, I am a bit mad because, she's like, why? I'm like, because we had sleepover scheduled before Pepper, and, like, I never called you. So, yeah. So, that happened. And then, what happened was, I was like, I am mad. And she's like, why? And I'm like, because we had the sleepover. Yeah, I just explained it. Because we had the sleepover playing before. She said, no, we didn't. Bye. I'm like, whatever. I was like, I still texted her because I got really mad. Like, you don't plan something and then ditch the person to go out with someone else. Like, that's wrong. Like, this has happened to me. Like, I've accidentally done it because, like, I didn't know we had the plans. Like, that's okay, because you honestly didn't know. I honestly did not know we had plans, but yeah. So, that has happened to me. I mean, I've accidentally done it. Like, I ain't on purposely do it like she did. But, so yeah. And then, so what happens was, I was eating dinner at the time. I was like, I got mad. I told my mom what happened. And she was like, well, crap happens. I'm like, but still, I'm mad. And she's like, yeah, I know you're mad. Like, I would be mad too, but, yeah. So she said that. And then, so I went. And I was just sitting there eating dinner with my family. We eat dinner in the living room. We're kind of ghetto. So we ate dinner in the living room. And my phone rang. And it was a girl. It was Kat. And I was like, I answered it. And I was like, hello. 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 And then someone said, hey. And then I just ended on them because they weren't talking. And then I get, they call me back, and I deny the call. And they give me a voicemail. And it's the person who called me. It was Kat and her friend Pepper, and Pepper's niece. I don't know. It's weird. So, Pepper is actually younger than her niece, so it's kind of weird. So, yeah. So what happened then was like, yeah. And then my friend at lunch that day was like, asked Pepper, like, do you want to play this weekend? And Pepper said, I don't know. I don't know if I'm busy or not. And then she said, oh wait, I'm really busy. And then I was talking to my friend on text, and she was like, oh yeah, well, Pepper said she was really busy this weekend. I'm like, I know, I was there at lunch. And she was like, so she was lying all this time. And yeah, so we had like a play date. Well, we didn't have a play date, like, we were at the same place. We had a FaceTime play date. So then I went, I keep yawning. So we were playing over FaceTime, and yeah, and then we eventually ended. So yeah, and then another thing was we I think I talked about this in the last video. I don't know, but like, yeah. So that happened, and I don't know if any of you know about Sky Zone, but yeah. So we were going to go together over winter break. She said she was like too sick to go. I'm like, oh, okay. And yeah. So, well, what happened was I was gonna go with her, but I had to pay. So I had Christmas money that I had, and I was gonna pay for myself. And I texted her, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, we can she was like, oh yeah, but she got sick that day, so I didn't know, like, if it was, like, a long sickness, but, yeah. So, so I was like, oh yeah, it's $20 off, and she was like, yeah. So then, you know, I asked her, like, oh, is it still okay if I come? Did you ask your parents if I can come? She was like, yeah, sure. I did, yeah, sure. I'm like, okay. So I go today, and I asked her yesterday if she was still sick, and she said, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay. And then today she sends me a picture of her, and this is after Christmas, so she sends me a picture of her. And she got she got Beats for Christmas. So, and she has an iPhone. So she plugged her Beats into our iPhone, and she had them plugged in, And she sent me a picture of her in the car. I'm like, oh, where are you going? I wanted to know where she was going. She said bowling. I just got so mad because you're feeling good enough to go bowling, but you can't go to Sky Zone. Like, it's really annoying. So yeah, like, comment, share, subscribe. Yeah, if you're watching, I really don't care. Bye.